Alright, we're cementing up these front steps with pieces of bluestone that are 1.5 inches thick. I put down a layer of concrete. It's actually a mix of about 2 to 3 parts sand to 1 part Portland cement. It's much better than using mortar out in the outdoors. And we're going to take this stone and tip it up here and slowly drop it down onto there. Smush it in place and then level it out, tilt it a little bit away from the house so water runs off. The idea is to get it about 2.5 inches higher at the back because the step is like 10.5 and the front here is sunk into the ground over the years. Since this was built in 1950, the front step's like 6 and the second one's like about 6.5. And then the top is like 10.5, so the whole thing is sunk, plus it's tilted towards the house. So we're gonna smush this down and then beat it in with a rubber mallet, not stone. I don't want to break it. And we're getting nice clean blue stone here that has no cracks. I had these other ones on here that were nice 3x3 ones, but they cracked. They had a little hairline cracks in them, so you got to watch that when you buy them. And water got in and froze and made it worse. But they lasted about 25 years, so it's pretty good considering, you know. But I use mortar, and the mortar just turned to sand dust after a while. So I would recommend using something better, either an epoxy or in between the joints, or some kind of a mix of Portland and sand without the lime and all that, and then the mortar mix makes it too soft for the weather in the winter. Alright, we set one stone down on the rubber mat there and then tipped it down into place, hopefully without hurting yourself doing it, because they're about 100 pounds a piece. And then I'm going to put the level on it, tap it into place, let it hang out like maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, because someday I probably will stick thin pieces of bluestone on the front of the steps to make it look like the whole steps are stone and stuff instead of concrete under there. So I might leave it hang out 3/4 of an inch, and then maybe take the grinder and round the edges on the front to give it a little smoother step, less injury if you hit your shin on it or something. And that should be about it. Just got to get enough cement underneath it, make sure you have enough, a little more than what you actually want. Then measure it and make sure before you start tapping it down that you have a little extra, because you're going to tap it down, it's going to sink. Alright, we've got one piece in, trying to make it slope away from the house. You can see that even though I made it as dry as I could, it still was quite a bit wetter than I really wanted, because there's water oozing out when it's being squished by the weight of the stone. Might have been better to throw some of the pea gravel I have here in to give it more support so it wouldn't squish out. But the idea is that I'm going to put this one in, let it harden up a little bit. It's even to the edge of this step over here, and we're going to try and make about a 3/4 inch overhang, and that way we'll have room to put stone on the front of this, little thin pieces, you know. Just tack them on there and leave a little space at the back. And I can always pour the cement in there, you know, mix up some Portland and sand and make it slope away from the house there. And that way we should have a pretty good watertight thing once it's all done. I got the cement and everything's pretty well leveled out. Yeah, I'm doing it a little bit at a time here because I'm no professional mason, but I'm trying to get it relatively level across here. And if I figure if I put the other end on, the right end, and line that up with the edge of the step, then the middle one I can just kind of stick in and squish it down in there and level it to those two pieces on either side, rather than try and make up what the exact space is going to be on the next piece and work my way over. I'll just take the piece and put it on that side and then fill in make the spacing even. And hopefully we'll wind up with a nice new set of steps here. And like I said, we'll round off the edges of the stone a little bit after it's all in, so we can make it look nice and even and stuff if everything isn't perfect.